Good morning. Yeah, I guess you notice the difference. I'm a little bit more clean shaven. Not so good. I had to do that because when I was holding my daughter, she would always wake up when she fell asleep on my shoulder. My beard would mess with her. So I was ready for a change, and now I can hold my daughter with her not waking up every 3 seconds. So that's why the beard's gone. But more importantly, while you're here, back on the Chevelle, I took a week off from working on it because we had some personal stuff we're doing. And next week, starting tomorrow, I'm going to some more training at work. So I've been trying this weekend to get caught up from my last week off. So I only did, I have to calculate the hours I did yesterday. I think I did maybe 7 hours yesterday. And today I'm going to try to do about 6 more. I've got the front fenders off. They're over there. I got the inner fender wells out. I got the radiator core support out. And now I started to work on the body bolts. So quick update on the body bolts. The core support came out pretty good. I could get to it easily. Those came out. Then I started to work on the very first body mount underneath the firewall, which has the square nuts on the inside. And I'm assuming there used to be a captured piece around that, and it's just gone, or maybe they're tacked in. I don't know, but they're just spinning. I've been soaking them. Oh, also, you can see the old Chevelle emblem on there. I thought that was kind of cool. So I got to figure out how to get in there. I got a wrench in there, but it just keeps spinning. So I might end up notching this down so I can get a wrench in there flat to hold that. So we'll try that today on either side. This bolt that goes in right here, but is underneath all of the body, it came out. So I guess because it doesn't have a lot of dirt on it and it wasn't corroded, it came out. So I was lucky on that one. The 4 in the back. So I've got one on either side here, and then one there, and one there. Those spun a little bit, maybe the depth of the nut itself, and then they got gummed up and stopped. So I ended up taking a Sawzall just above the frame and cutting the bolts off of all of these. The only one that didn't cut off was this one because it's just vibrating. So I'll have to wait until I put some tension on it to hold that bolt from vibrating back and forth. And that way I can actually get a bite with the Sawzall. But it's loose and it's separated. So I've got 3 left. Kind of moral of the story here. I've got the front one I just showed you over there, this front one, and then this one here. Now, this one here is spinning, and it's captured, and it's all inside. So, unfortunately, I had to cut away a little bit last night before I went in and try to see what I'm dealing with. Hopefully, you can see it. It is a square nut like the rest, but it's captured by that tiny little piece of sheet metal. And, of course, it was spinning inside. So I'm going to be figuring that out today, how to get that off. I'm probably just going to bend that sheet metal piece away. And I don't know, maybe if I'll shove a piece of metal in between that structure and the square nut to try to get it to stop turning, or what I'm going to do. If I can get a wrench in there, we'll figure it out. And then I'll have to figure out a repair going back. But unfortunately, that had to happen. I have to get it off, so I've got to start somewhere. So that's what I'm working on today. Get those last 3 body bolts off. And if I can get those last 3 body bolts off, I'll probably get my ladder. And that way I can hook up some chain falls to the back. And I'm going to use my engine hoist over there for the front. I'll drop everything back down. I guess I'll probably put the chassis on my stands first so I can roll it. So that'll be a good idea. Hopefully, if I'm lucky and get all these body bolts off today, I can lift the body, drop the chassis, move the chassis out from underneath of it, and then kind of set the body down back on the lift, I guess, for now. And then that'll put me at a good spot for leaving to go to training for a week. So when I come back, I can really get the rotisserie set up and just get to working on this thing from a repair standpoint versus a takeoff disassembly standpoint. It's really nice when you make that switch from disassembly to actually starting to put good stuff back. So that's what I'm working on today. I'll just be cutting and grinding. I'll show you whatever I end up having to do to get those body bolts off, but it's just kind of a lot of messy work. So I'm gonna get to it. Got all of them off except for that back one that just needs a little more Sawzall work. So, let me preface this. All of you purists, all you Chevelle guys, the showroom quality crap, I love it. I'm just not there right now. This car, for a lot of people, is a throwaway unit. I'm repairing it the best way that I can, and this is just how I did it. So, it isn't the right way, but it's how I did it. So if you're curious, and if you're backyarding it, shade treeing it, whatever you want to call it, this is what I did to get the front out. So I did this so that I could get my wrench in there on that square nut to back it off. As soon as I could get some actual pressure on that thing, it broke. Because it's just been sitting there and rusting away. But that is the square nut. So, I can repair that. And I can repair it stronger than the factory. Blah, blah, blah. You can put down in the comments how I did it wrong. But it's my project. It's how I'm going to do it. Same thing on this side. Did that so I could lay the wrench in here. Because I had it like this. But it would just keep kicking off and round the square nut off, so I could get the wrench in there flat. That's how I did the fronts. That back one came out fine. This one did not. So if you're trying to figure out where to locate this body bolt, it is on the structure where the rear seats mount to. Come down from this piece, and it is right at the 90. That's the hole. So if you're wondering where it's located, it's right at the 90. So I just went down to the bottom of the 90, cut an access panel in, and I had to cut it like this. You got the top panel and then the bottom panel. So I cut it straight, and across so I could bend it up. That's the wrench. It's a 1-inch. The nut's still stuck on it, and that gave me enough access to get this down in here and hold it while I backed it off. Now this one actually backed all the way out, and that's the bolt. That's where I was getting it from, and I was using this small breaker bar. So then I switched over to the ratchet once it got loose enough where I could turn it. That's how I got those off. So if you are trying to figure out where that is, or if you want to spray penetrant on yours, the only way to get to it, for the best that I can see, is you could probably drill a hole right at the edge of this 90, drill it straight through, and then you could spray penetrant down in there, and that might help you if you just start coating it now and it's not too far. So I'll go over there and show you where I would drill a hole to spray penetrant. I'm sure you could probably get it through the frame somehow, but it's just one little tiny hole. So if I was going back in here trying to spray, knowing what I know now, I would come down off of this and I would spray. I would drill right in the center at the 90. And then I would spray right through. That would get you penetrant on that rear nut. Of course, you've seen the back too. So now I should be ready to start gathering things to get the body off. There's only one bolt technically still holding the car on, the body on the frame, and that's this one here. I'm going to shove a wedge in here and try to keep it from vibrating back and forth so I can get a good cut, and I'll do that final cut. Then I got to do a lot of prepping. I got to get my wheel rollers so I can set the frame on it so I can move that around. I gotta get my straps straight. I gotta get a bunch of stuff ready. So I'm gonna clean up the shop a little bit, get all this crap off the floor. You can see me running the impact. Definitely coated the floor in about all this 53-year-old metal. So I'm gonna clean everything up, and then hopefully the next thing you're gonna see is me taking the body off the frame. Side note, if you are wanting a good Sawzall blade that will cut through these body bolts, I'm sure there's better ones out there, but in my opinion, this Sawzall blade has lasted the absolute longest and cuts through these bolts like butter. As long as the bolt's not moving around where you're not getting the actual action from the blade. These are, in my opinion, the best, and I'm still on the very first one that I bought, and I've cut all of these off, and I did my 1980 square body bolts and bed bolts. I had to cut every single one of those out. There's like 12 of those things. And this is still the first one, and just this go around I started to lose teeth, and that was because that one body bolt that I showed you was actually moving with the blade. That's what the blade looks like now. And like I said, that just happened, but the rest of the blades have looked like this after about 14 to 18 body bolt cutoffs. And that blade itself is a Diablo blade. Like I said, I bought a 3-pack and I'm still on the first one. If you want the information, I have it in my other videos too. It is a Diablo Steel Demon 6-inch thick metal, 3/16 to 9/16 cast iron high strength alloy stainless steel carbide teeth. This is the one that I used. I guess there's maybe a part number, but I'm sure you can just look that information up and find it. I started with these. I think these are actual Sawzall, Milwaukee Sawzall ones. And they're meant for a different kind of metal. And it's just, they weren't the right thing for the job. So there's probably nothing wrong with these. But when I went to go buy the right thing, this is what I came up with. I tried it out and I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for a good blade to keep around to cut through some thick steel, those things work. All right, bear with me. I forgot my stands. Y'all are just propped up on the shop table here. I think I'm getting ready to, I got my straps in the ceiling ready. I got my cherry picker ready. I'm going to drop the chassis down onto these rolling carts. That way I can move it forward and grab my fixed point where the rear body mounts are. So. All right. Looks pretty good. Scooch those forward a little bit. Alright, it is on the ground. Body is not connected anymore. I'm wondering if I need to put a support bar in between where the doors were, because the floor is not very strong anymore. I measured it just so that I know. I mean, I feel like between these pillars and the rockers, it should hold. But I measured it, so if it does change, I should be able to put it back, weld bars in, and then put my floor structure in so I don't get all out of whack. But okay, so I think I need to move forward. almost like 2 foot. It's pretty close there. And those only rolled that easy because I had all of the wheels in the same direction before I put weight on them. Now that weight is on them, they are miserable to move around. So don't take that as those being easy, but it is better than having to use a jack. Now, can I get this far back enough? Yes, I can. All right, I think we're ready to start rigging up. Seems about right. You know what? Before I do this, it's already close to lunchtime, so I think I'm going to take a break, eat some lunch, and then come back, rig everything up, because that always takes way longer than y'all are probably going to want to watch anyway. But I'll show you how I rig it up. That's the important part. So take a break, rig everything up, show you what I got, and then we'll pull the body. All right, catch you after lunch. Okay, back from lunch. I think I've got it rigged up where it'll work. So we're gonna see. If it does work, then I'll show you after I got it in the air how I hooked it up. So cross your fingers, I don't drop the body. And hopefully I've got everything unhooked. Alright. It looks like I need to tighten this one over here a little more. Starting to pick it up at an angle. It's free, it's in the air. Alright, it looks like I got a emergency brake cable still connected. Not anymore. Flip the back up a little. right, those noises are just the fuel tank straps. They were still kind of underneath the rear end housing. I just twisted them out of the way. All right, I think I'm clear in the back. We'll come up in the front a little more, and we should be able to move this chassis out of the way. Definitely clear on the front. Clear on the back. All right, I think I'm gonna move you guys so you can get a better shot of it. But looks like I am good how I did it. All right, to keep the left and right angles somewhat the same, I used 2 separate straps in the front to a single point up top. And I came in and hooked in on this major body mount up front, and it appears to be holding just fine. Same thing on both sides. Again, there's nothing in the car, so it's just the shell. No doors, no dash, no steering column. That tiny little bit of the back side of the heater core is the only thing left in the car. And of course the rear windows. But that's it. For the back, single point up top, not fastened. And then I just came in underneath here. This is a pretty big channel for the back. Just hooked it right in there. So that's how it's being held. Not perfect, but I'm not going to get underneath of it, so it should be good. Find a good spot for you to sit over here. If I can find something to hook this to. Let's see, can you see from there? Yeah, I think you can see it. All right. There it is. A little wobbly. I probably won't do that too many times, but it's holding. Now I'm going to try to get the chassis out from underneath of it. That'll be fun. I'm going to have to go back first and then come over because of the legs on my engine hoist. Looks like my fuel tank straps are just hitting the frame a little bit. No big deal. Oh. Want to get hooked on the frame. That's weird. I got two separate pieces now. Gonna have to move all these spare parts, or not spare parts, but original parts, out of the way. Eventually, but for now, I think I can sneak it in here. Yes, I can't. So we. Alright, this frame's probably in y'all's way now. But frame, body. Two separate pieces now. Another big step in the process. Until I get my rotisserie in, I think I might put the body back on to the lift. So that'll probably be my best. At least that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Put the body onto my lift here in the floor. And then once I get the rotisserie, I should be able to mount that all up pretty easily using the lift to help. I got a little camber on that one. All right, so there's the body hanging. Let's see what will be a good thumbnail for this video. Maybe that, huh? What do you think? Right there, or right there? I don't know. Well, I'm gonna set you guys down, and then let's get this body out from hanging in the air. So that was plenty strong to hook. The only distorted metal I have from hooking the way I did was the way that the metal buckle was hooked in here. The loop was pushing against this seam. So you can see that little bit of an uptick where the seam was, which I can take that down a couple taps of the hammer, but as you can see, it's seen better days anyway. So right there, I could bring that back down. It's not perfect anyway. But if this was perfect, I would have put a 2x4 right here so that loop would have been against the 2x4 and had a nice flat surface instead of putting that little buckle in it. That was the only thing. So it worked for me. Okay, that is the body on my lift now and the frame separate. Quick look at the frame. Of course, it's got surface rust and whatnot, but I've been told this is a bad spot. And you probably can't tell on video, but it does not look bad. It's all solid. This is just the old flaking off undercoating. But all that looks fine. There's no holes. Doesn't even look like it's gotten close to thin, so that's great. Again here, surface rust. Everything looks good. Some more flaking, undercoat. All of this looks pretty good. Just needs to be cleaned up, obviously. Even this cross member looks good. I had way more rot in my 80s square body pickup. I don't even think I'm going to have to do any frame repair, to be honest with you. With the quick look over, even all the spring buckets and shock perches. Like on my square body, the shock perches would be all 8 out right here. That side of the frame looks good as well, where the 4-link or 3-link, whatever you want to call it, comes in. Yeah, I think we got a good frame here. Good candidate for a DIY resto. Good deal. All right, so that's the case. It is getting kind of late and I need to get packed for training. So I'm going to call it there. I'm going to clean up the shop a little bit, get the last bit of rust that I just knocked off, gather up my tools, put them all close together, and then be ready to get them all back out. But if I don't reset the shop every couple days, it turns into an absolute wreck. So I just reset it every couple days. Even if I'm going to use the tools again, I reset it. That's what keeps me going and stop going crazy. So, good morning. I am on my way, about an hour away to the father-in-law's house to pick up the rotisserie for the body of the Chevelle. I'm also picking up a cart just in case that'll work better, but might as well pick up both. So I'm lucky enough that he has them, I can borrow them. Because otherwise that would be, I think if I absolutely wanted to get a rotisserie, you can buy them new from the big box automotive stores for like $1,000 to $1,200, and I'm sure you can probably find a used one cheaper than that. I think a cart you can probably get for like $250 to $500. But ask around if you're messing with this stuff. There's a good chance that somebody has something you can use. Barter with them. But for me, it's my father-in-law. He's got it. It's about an hour drive further into the boonies. So I will show you all the process of me loading that thing up. Hopefully it's pretty easy. He's out of town, so I won't have any help today. But hopefully it goes well. See y'all in about an hour. Alright, this stuff looks pretty heavy, but I'm going to attempt to load it by myself. We'll see how it goes. Alright, I think I got everything strapped down. as you just saw. Just took my time. Kind of weird shapes and stuff, so trying to make sure everything is actually captured, since a lot of the stuff bolts together, can slip out. So I think I got it on there pretty good. Doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Guess I should give her the old, that's not going anywhere. Now I should be good. All right, here's the setup. It's not squatting too bad. Hopefully we make it home with all the pieces. Catch you on in a minute. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I will catch y'all on the next installment of the Chevelle build. Like and subscribe, please.